Oh, so Joe, what do you think about this 500i? I don't want to put it down. Welcome to the Okie Woodsman channel. My name is Joe, and I just had to get out here and do some cutting because I have this new STIHL 500i that I just am dying to get some more fuel through. On a previous video, we cut up that big log there with a 32-inch bar, and it went really well. The local community here in rural Oklahoma has been picking off of that now that I cut it up into manageable sizes. So that's a very good thing for this community center here. They have a cool car show coming up. They just want to have some of this area cleaned up. So by us being able to come out here and by your guys' viewership allows me to come out here and do this work for free, get some good footage, have some fun together, and have some conversations down below. This is going to be the third job that I've done with this saw. My first job was here, ran a couple tanks through it, ran some through my ported Echo 7310, and then I did another lakefront job where I went and bucked some trees up, loaded them up with my trailer and took them home, and those are stacked in the log pile. This one is was a dead standing white oak that they had someone fall, and I'm going to go ahead and get to cutting on this thing, because there is going to be some firewood in here, and I bet you someone here locally will love to have it. Of course, I've been offered any wood I would like, and I'm actually most interested in this hackberry here. I'm super excited to get into that because I really like cutting anything really other than oak for the most part here in my part of Oklahoma. And in the process of learning this new saw, I am running the rakers a bit lower than I normally would. I normally use the Husqvarna depth gauge raker guide, or whatever you want to call it, and I generally set that to the hardwood setting. I'm thinking that I'm going to be shifting a little bit more towards a little bit hungrier of a raker. I have it set to the softwood setting. This wood by no means is going to be soft, but I also know that the STIHL 500i likes to be under load, and so I'm just going to test that, especially with this little 24-inch bar. If I get this dulled, I didn't bring any sharpening materials with me. I brought, I believe, 2 other chains, so hopefully that will get us through the job. I will be starting at the top because it's highly likely there'll be less material like metal or anything up here, and if there is, it might be down there. So I'll be getting to those cuts last. This 500i has about 3 tanks of fuel through it, and it hasn't been run in a few days. I just filled it up back at the shop, and now we're going to pull it over. I haven't pumped the purge bulb at all, and I saw down in the comment section that Davy's Logging and Iffy Kidman were talking about the starting procedure on this. Davy mentioned that he just pulls his over and they start, and I would have naturally just gone right to the purge bulb. So with that information, I'm just going to pull on it and see what happens. 3 pulls, no purging. Hey, look at that. Isn't that awesome? I already mentioned that I'm running a hungrier chain, but the other thing that's changed as well is I also punched that pin in to get a little bit more oil on the bar. That's cutting nice. I can say it's actually oiling now. Saw set for a couple moments. See how she likes to be pulled over. Beautiful. Slowing it down a bit because I was cutting around dirt. These pants are a bit hot. I can feel my calves, they're just warm, but they're protective. Would you guys take the hackberry versus the oak that's laying all around here? Let me know down in the comment section. Longer than it's supposed to be. There's another hackberry over there that we're gonna go buck up. Then we're gonna come in and get to this rock hard white oak. While we're walking over there, I just wanna say that running this 500i is absolutely wonderful. I don't have a 661 here to compare it to directly, but I would say that I would much rather pick this up over a 661. The weight is just right. It feels good. It feels like a 70cc saw, a strong 70cc saw. And so I'm just really excited to run this thing. Why am I marking the log? It's because I would rather do that and just cut rather than bend down each time. Let's do a hot start on this and see how she goes. I suspect well. There's plenty of good oak in there, but I just don't want to deal with punky oak. Plus the locals will probably be thrilled to have that over the hackberry. Oh man, this saw is really nice. Just feels good. Does exactly what it's supposed to do, and this thing is stock. Besides the roll pin getting punched in, it's the only, I guess, modification you could call it. It is in the instruction manual, but it is a permanent mod, so to me it's a modification. We're gonna see how far tank 1 goes. I suspect it's gonna get me through the whole day. Or at least this session, I mean. Oh, that's some nasty stuff. I suspect we're going to be getting into better wood down there, but let's just see how close I was to 16 without marking it. A lot of people tell me, like, if you have to mark your wood, then you ain't no good for cutting firewood, but this is the deal. Like, I mean, I can eyeball it, get close, I think. So that's an inch off, and that's a half inch off right there. So I'm within an inch just by eyeballing it and not really caring. I just was selecting a spot and bucking. Now, half of this was because I was trying to get to this side of the union here. So I'd say we're at 15.5 inches on this one. So do I need this? No, I don't need this to cut general firewood, but I just want to use it because I want my firewood to be better. That's all. The wood gets way more solid down that way. So I'm just gonna make this so it can get cleaned up easier, make sure it can roll over, and we'll finish bucking it. There is solid oak in there, it's just kind of buried, that's all. You should be getting into more solid wood here. Still feels soft. Let's hope there's some here. I'm enjoying it. I truly am enjoying it. It feels good. I sure hope there's some solid wood in there because it feels like it's cutting great. Look, Ma, a no-nonsense chainsaw. I'm rolling this over so that way if anyone wants to say you're just cutting punky soft wood, that's not the case. There's a little bit of a soft core, a little bit of a ring around here, but this will make some great firewood for someone. I don't really want to stop. I think I'm going to go back over to that limb pile over there and do some bucking. This is probably about 4/5 empty. So I'm going to go ahead and top it off. I'm guilty of repeating the fuel efficiency thing without truly having firsthand experience. I just kind of trusted the people that, you know, if you're getting flown into with a helicopter or something into the woods, 25% less time on a tank might be a problem. But for me, it's not going to be a problem. That was plenty of cut time for me with what I do. 100%. There's a lot of people that either love this saw or absolutely have nothing good to say. Where do you fall? And I've got plenty of oil for the fuel that I had left. I'm also trying this MFA oil. I purchased this locally. I saw an advertisement for this stuff for like less than $7 a gallon. And so I figured I'd try it out. This one I think is very thin. Some of you might cringe a little bit. Yeah, dude, that's like almost looks like 5W30 or something. It doesn't seem super tacky. Let me get it on my fingers and see what it's like. Well, I mean, it does have some tackifiers in it. This probably would be fantastic in the wintertime when everything gets super thick. I think for summer it might be on the thin side. This next session of cutting is going to be for community service, so I am not going to be measuring it because it's just going to be so people can come and get wood if they want it. So one of my things that I wanted was a stock saw that was excellent stock, and as of right now I believe this saw to be excellent stock. And it also feels like the power's coming up on it as I run it, which is to be expected. This is starting the 5th tank right here about, I would say, because I was about 3. I just used mostly the 4th, and this is the 5th here. This will be great for the community. I'll just cut on this stuff and they'll be able to come and get it as needed. Your guys' views are making this happen, and your guys' support on sawsuppliers.com. Remember, there's a discount code OKI10 for all the best power equipment. Doesn't matter your brand now. They're all there. All right, let's get started. If you guys are wondering what this chain is, this is hand-filed Duke's full chisel with my raker set on the Husqvarna depth plate to softwood setting. gosh dang, this thing's nice to run. I'm impressed. Hackberry is some of the stringiest stuff. The bark holds on really good. Oh, so Joe, what do you think about this 500i? Well, simply put, I don't want to put it down. I hope that means something to you, because there are saws that you do want to put down, saws you don't want to put down, and this one I do not want to put down. And just in case any of you are wondering, I do not have any association with any one manufacturer. The closest I've ever dealt with a manufacturer is when I took that factory tour at the Echo facility up at Lake Zurich, Illinois. And the only reason why that happened is because of sawsuppliers.com. Steve invited me out there, and I'm a big Echo fan. I'm a big Husqvarna fan, and I am, after this saw right here, this is my favorite STIHL I have ever run. Hands down, my favorite STIHL I've ever run. We're going to talk a little bit more about that here in a moment. And it's also a good time to mention that all of my saws come from the same place, and they sell all of them, so it doesn't really matter to sawsuppliers.com or any manufacturer what saw I like the most, because I'm not behooving to any of them. I just simply run what I've got. I enjoy certain saws more than others, and so I think I can speak about this. And I did purchase this saw, just like I purchased my 7310, just like I purchased my 620, my 562, and all of that. I purchased those saws. And I also do want to say I do make commission off of saws that you guys purchase, and that's what made this a possibility. This 500i was purchased because of your guys' viewership, your guys' purchases, everything, the culmination of everything that's going on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, affiliate links on Amazon, saw suppliers, TriStar Supply. Unfortunately, TriStar Supply has announced that they are closing shop. And that one is a big bummer, and from what the details sound like, it sounds like it's just simply not worth it being in business with all the different tariffs. Keep in mind, we had some great performance parts coming out of Canada, and that impacts everybody in this industry, in the chainsaw world, and it also is going to impact the saws ultimately as well. So right now is a great time. Likely the saws are not going to be coming down in price. Well, I don't see prices going down anytime soon anywhere. The market is going to take a drastic correction if we're ever, this 500i, this saw with the 32-inch bar is like $1,700 plus. You used to be able to purchase them for like $1,100-1,200 from what I understand. I don't think we'll ever see a 500i like that again. The 7310 used to be around, I think, $800-900. They are up $1,100 plus now, and but you can soften that with your purchase using discount code OAKIE10, OAKIE10 at sawsuppliers.com. That supports the channel. It doesn't cost you guys anything. You just save money, and you get the saws you want shipped right to you. So that's just absolutely fantastic. Let's get into this saw a little bit more. I said that this is my favorite STIHL chainsaw I've ever run. I've never run a 400C, and I've never run a 462 that I can think. When I was working more with saws, I was far less interested in them, to be honest with you. I just ran them as a tool. I enjoyed a well-cutting saw and a sharp chain and a powerful saw, but I didn't really care that much about the model. I didn't know about the progression of steel chainsaws. I knew that there was a 044 that everyone loved, and I knew there was a 066 that everyone loved, and the best thing, according to the guys, was the 661, and those guys didn't like the 500i back then. It was just kind of one of those things. I think it was a displacement is king type mindset. But I do have time on a 661. I do have time on a 461. I do have time on my 460. And I have time on a 441. And then there's one other in there that I really don't know what it was. It was another 70cc saw. I don't think it was a 462. It could have been, but I really couldn't tell you. I'm pretty sure it wasn't a 460. And I'm pretty sure it was a 4 series saw. So I don't really know exactly what I was running. Maybe it was a 462. But needless to say, this saw seems like it is waking up fantastically. I feel like it's gotten stronger. Now, of course, I am running a different chain. I'm running more aggressive rakers, and I think I can feel it. But I think the saw is also just getting a little bit stronger. Now, it is known that these saws like to correct and provide more fuel as it's needed, essentially. And that's why I kind of describe this saw as having a second gear, or more appropriately, probably like a turbocharger or a supercharger type feeling, because it feels like it boosts when you get on it. And I feel like that was the case today. Some of the wood was a little punky up there, but as I look at it, there is a lot of super tight grain white oak in here, and it is rock solid, dead stuff. And this was cutting through it fantastically. I have zero interest in a 661. Just to be abundantly clear, this saw, I you know, it's hard because I can't compare them side by side. The 661 I ran, I don't know if it's a little bit more powerful or not, but the reality is it's just so darn big and heavy. The only way I would use that is if it was consistently barred up with like a 36-inch bar just for cutting big wood. But I would not want to do what I just did. I just cut a bunch of small stuff, this medium size, you know, this is hardwood, so it's good size wood, and then all that stuff over there, and it was just absolutely delightful. So this saw was purely a pleasure to run. And if this saw, I'm going to say something, I'm going to go out on a limb, if this saw continues to be reliable, stays strong, doesn't do anything weird when it's super hot, super cold, if it always starts, does what it's supposed to do, doesn't fail me, I'm going to say that this is probably the nicest stock chainsaw I've ever run. It's got great power at this point in time. There was times where it wanted to kick out of my hands. I really feel like this thing is coming alive, and certainly this is a saw you need a firm grip on. Especially after, you know, this, I'm into my 5th tank now, and it's just absolutely wonderful. I will keep reporting on what I find with this. You're going to probably see this in my hand quite often. You're going to see my 7310 in my hands as well. It feels fairly comparable, but I really want to get out and run both of them side by side when I have a lot of cutting to do, just to be able to talk a little bit more about what a ported 7310 is like compared to a stock 500i. This saw, as of right now, I'm not feeling a big need to modify the muffler on it or anything. It's running great. So, and that's really kind of what I wanted with this saw. As I mentioned on that first video, is I really want a stock saw that is just great out of the box, and that might be it. So thank you for watching the Okie Woodsman channel. Make sure you check out all those links. Make sure you use that discount code Okie10. We have sold a bunch of saws here recently, and I've got to thank you guys tremendously for that. We'll see you on the next one.